Hi, this is Krista from Ethics 535, and my final presentation is titled Contributions of Women in Environmental Advocacy, a Feminist and Ecofeminist Perspective for Technical Communicators. My presentation will highlight the contributions of women in environmental advocacy through feminist and ecofeminist theories. We'll explore how gender and environmental issues are interconnected, showing how patriarchal structures contribute to both the oppression of women and environmental degradation. First, we'll start off by exploring ecofeminism and feminist theory. Ecofeminism combines ecological and feminist perspectives, highlighting the link between the oppression of women and nature. Feminist theory focuses on gender inequality, examining social, political, and economic disparities between men and women. Together, these frameworks provide a critical lens for understanding how patriarchal, capitalist, and colonialist systems harm both people and the planet. Next, we will look at feminism and ecofeminism, the impact of anthropocentrism and patriarchy. Anthropocentrism is the belief that humans are the most important species, often leading to the exploitation of nature. Patriarchy, on the other hand, is a social system where men hold primary power, resulting in the marginalization and oppression of women. Both of these concepts are central to understanding how environmental and gender issues are interconnected. Anthropocentrism and patriarchy contribute to the exploitation of nature and the oppression of women. In looking at literature and books, Malala's I Am Malala, A Story of Courage, examines the patriarchal culture in Pakistan and Malala's resistance through her advocacy for girls' education. The work highlights 6 forms of patriarchy and shows how they play out in Malala's story, emphasizing her radical feminism and activism against oppressive systems. The 6 modes of patriarchy in her book are mode of production, relations and paid work, relations in the state, male violence, relations in sexuality, and relations in cultural institutions. Next, we briefly take a look at Rachel Carson and her book, Silent Spring. Rachel Carson's Silent Spring raised awareness about the ecological harm caused by DDT, prompting major shifts in environmental policies and public awareness. Despite facing threats and misinformation, Carson's work led to an advisory committee established by President John F. Kennedy, which confirmed her findings and marked a turning point in environmental consciousness. This article notes that Silent Spring revolutionized environmental awareness. She faced significant opposition. Carson's advocacy led to policy change. She inspired future generations of environmentalists, and her legacy changed the public perception of nature. Next, we take a look at poetry from the work of Mary Oliver and how she inspires nature, women, and harmony. Mary Oliver's poetry embodies ecofeminist themes, portraying nature as a space for women to connect with environmental and feminist issues. Her work emphasizes harmony with nature using vivid imagery to highlight the bond between humans and the environment, while encouraging readers to appreciate the beauty of the natural world. Next, we take a look at Amanda Gorman's poetry and how she is a catalyst for social and environmental change. Amanda Gorman's poetry tackles urgent issues like climate change and racial inequality, using her words as a powerful tool for activism. Her work fosters unity, resilience, and perseverance, inspiring young people to actively engage with social, racial, and environmental challenges. She uses her poetry as a tool for activism. Her poem, The Hill We Climb, promotes unity and hope. Her poem, Earthwise, urges collective action on climate change. She empowers young people and fosters resilience through her poetry. Gorman's influence as a feminist revolutionary. Next, we take a look at Vandana Shiva's activism through her documentary Seeds of Change and how it promotes social justice through ecofeminism. The Seeds of Vandana Shiva focuses on Shiva's activism against seed monopolies and her advocacy for sustainable farming. The documentary highlights her critique of multinational corporations and her role in the Chipko movement, emphasizes the link between environmental and social justice. Her activism continues to inspire global movements advocating for environmental justice, women's rights, and the protection of life on Earth. The article's key takeaways are her transition from being a doctorate in physics to her role in ecofeminism, her opposition to the seed monopolies and GMOs, the Chipko movement and forest protection, advocacy for sustainable farming and biodiversity, and Dr. Shiva's global influence on environmental and social justice. Next, we take a look at the documentary called Honeyland and how it exhibits feminism, ecofeminism, and the balance between humans and nature. Honeyland tells the story of a woman who is a traditional beekeeper in North Macedonia. It highlights the balance between human needs and ecological preservation. The documentary underscores the importance of sustainable practices and the crucial role women play in environmental conservation. The takeaways from this article are anthropocentrism is a root cause of environmental crisis. Honeyland is a portrayal of ecofeminism, a shift from anthropocentrism to ecocentrism, interconnectedness of social environmental justice, and a shift toward empathy and ecological harmony. Next, we take a look at Wangari Maathai and her Green Belt movement, which focused on reforestation and empowering women, making a significant impact on environmental conservation in Kenya. Her activism also included advocating for women's rights and unionizing faculty for equal benefits, establishing her as a key figure in both environmental and social justice. Key takeaways are that she is the founder of the Green Belt movement. She championed for women's rights. She had a strong resistance to colonial land practices. She's a Nobel Peace Prize laureate and a global advocate for environmental and social justice. Next, we have Greta Thunberg and her protests and activism, as she is a global voice for climate action. Greta Thunberg's climate activism sparked global movements through her Fridays for Future campaign, urging climate action. Her speeches and school strikes have inspired millions of students worldwide to join the climate activism movement, emphasizing the need for immediate collective action. Through her speeches and protests, she continues to advocate for bold action and policy changes, making the climate crisis a central issue in global political, and social conversations. As we take a closer look into women's environmental movements, this article highlights the vital role women play in leading environmental movements, such as the Bishnoi, Chipko, Silent Valley, and Apiko movements. These grassroots efforts showcase the power of activism in preserving natural resources. This article also stresses the importance of government support for sustainable practices and the involvement of women in environmental justice. In conclusion, ecofeminism and feminist perspectives are key to understanding the link between social and environmental justice. Ecofeminism connects the oppression of women and the exploitation of nature, advocating for a holistic approach to dismantling systems of oppression. Feminist theory focuses on gender inequality in various spheres. Both frameworks challenge anthropocentrism and patriarchy, which contribute to the marginalization of women and environmental harm. Integrating these perspectives promotes a more just, sustainable world, highlighting the importance of using feminist and ecofeminist lenses in technical communication to support social and environmental justice. And reflections on contributions, once again, are women have made diverse and impactful contributions to environmental advocacy. Rachel Carson's Silent Spring and Malala's I Am Malala have shaped environmental policies and gender equality. Poets like Mary Oliver and Amanda Gorman address environmental and social issues, promoting unity and change. Documentaries like The Seeds of Vandana Shiva and Honeyland highlight women's roles in conservation. Activists like Wangari Maathai and Greta Thunberg have mobilized global movements for environmental protection. Historical movements in India, such as Bishnoi and Chipko, demonstrate the power of women in grassroots environmental activism. And final highlights of this presentation are women have historically played a key role in environmental protection, as seen in movements like Chipko and Greenbelt movement. Supporting and recognizing their contributions can enhance environmental strategies and promote sustainability. Additionally, using feminist frameworks and technical communication is vital for addressing social and environmental justice, challenging power structures, and recognizing interconnected oppressions. By supporting women's roles in environmental advocacy, particularly from marginalized communities, we can create a more just and sustainable world. So this slide invites you to reflect on the key themes of ecofeminism, feminist theory, and the contributions of women to environmental advocacy. The questions provided aim to deepen your understanding and encourage a perspective that supports and recognizes women's essential roles in environmental protection. Please take a look at the presentation attached and read through the questions and reflect on them in your own time. Next, I just wanted to show you a couple slides based on all these great women. And please, once again, take some time to look at these at the end of the presentation. Thank you once again for taking the time to listen to my presentation. These were the 8 readings that I based the presentation and annotated bibliography.